Ruben Amorim has won 6 games in 6 months.
His track record proves to me that he deserves more time. I don't think I want to spend my vacation on a cruise boat that's on fire.
Tottenham win, but
Yes.
let's start with Manchester United because Ruben Amorim's first season with Manchester United ends in a bit of a whimper.
Oh,
that was.
I wonder where you got that term from.
So look, the question I want to ask is about Ruben Amorim and should Manchester United continue with his services? Because I'm of the feeling like I don't think it's worked out. So that is why that is today's top topic. So what do you think, Alexis?
The question, I think it's a 2-part question, is has Ruben Amorim done a good enough job to keep his job? It'd be hard to sell that as a yes.
Yeah,
but is it his fault? I'm going to go with no. I don't think he's done anything to suggest that he's the right guy, but I feel like his track record proves to me that he deserves more time to come in midseason, to not really have a full transfer window. You know, the summer transfer window is when you can really start to rebuild. I know they don't really have enough money. I know, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is looking in the mirror right now, practicing firing more people that need their jobs. He didn't have to buy the barbecue, so everyone's really excited. They didn't have to celebrate.
Right.
He's probably more excited than the next guy. They're not going to be in Champions League football. They're in the bottom half of the table. It's not looking great. But this man has a track record of doing well, not only in the Portuguese league with Sporting Club de Lisbon, and they desperately needed it. He's done well in Champions League. He's proven to me that he has the goods to be able to turn a team around. And sometimes when you don't have the time to do it, you'll never see it come to fruition. And I think this is a good example of steady. Let this man get another season. If he has another season like this or another even half season like this, I completely understand. But he deserves a transfer window. He deserves to bring in his own players, and he deserves at least a little bit more grace.
Sure, and I think he's had lots and lots of players. Not his players.
Yo, these players are trash.
I'll say this. I don't think it is his fault, but I think when he got there, and he is charming. He's saying the right things.
He's young. He's hip.
He's better than like Ten Hag, right?
Yeah.
He's not putting blame on other people. He's just he's a chill guy, and he was what they needed to not just right the ship like on the pitch, like with the media and dealing with all that stuff, because it was just a lot of bad publicity. So I don't necessarily think it is his fault. But I also don't think he might be the right guy, right? So I believe in Premier League, Manchester United, Ruben Amorim has won 6 games in 6 months.
It's not bad. One a month.
I mean,
how many do they play each month?
Like quite a few.
Oh, damn.
Usually 4 to 6.
Yeah. So not a good track record.
So and
by the way, that's even bad in baseball. Like swing. If you're a batter and you're getting to 250, you're like, damn, son.
Exactly. So it's something where that isn't good enough. So I understand it may not be entirely his fault because we know of all the institutional problems with Manchester United.
And that's the point. I think it's, first of all, I don't understand why he even took the job. And I get the glory of Manchester United to be the one that writes that ship. You can essentially become thought of as like the next Sir Alex Ferguson. There's a certain amount of ego that goes into wanting to be a manager, and wanting to be a manager of a club like Manchester United, regardless of when that call comes, you're probably going to take it. But at the same time, you had to look at this and go, I don't think I want to spend my vacation on a cruise boat that's on fire.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like I said on the live stream when we were doing watch along, I said that Manchester United feels like a house with mold all over it that you just paint over.
Paint it over it, yeah.
And you're just like, oh, it looks great from the outside.
Hold your nose. You be all right.
You okay? But don't worry about the migraines.
You're
doing fine.
Maggots, that's only upstairs.
So it's look, the point that this club is in and the opportunity that for both Tottenham and Manchester United, it was the opportunity for people to ignore the season you just had. And
this was a chance to say, like, all right,
just clean slate it.
You know what? You had a bad set, but you ended on a good closer. Everybody remembers you walking away with a good joke.
Exactly. You got carried off the stage because the last joke was really good.
You got that one. They're going to remember it. They want to take your picture now.
And so that was what was at risk. I mean, it's not even just getting to Champions League and the amount of money that and I'm seeing all these tweets about Manchester United. They have a deal with Adidas that every time they miss Champions League, that they get less. They get £10 million less.
Yeah,
from their agreement that not
a bad deal to sign because you think we're Manchester United.
Yeah, of course.
How are we gonna miss Champions League?
And so that, and then again, all this is not super confirmed because how you know how Twitter is nowadays. Yeah. But the other one that I thought was fascinating was that so Mason Mount, because he came from Chelsea, he had a Europa or like a Europa League Final clause that if Manchester United got to the Europa League Final, Chelsea would receive a sum of money, and that was £3.5 million, something like that. The amount of money you win for getting to the final of Europa League was 5. So
more than half of it would have gone.
Chelsea got more money from Manchester United playing in the Europa League Final than Manchester United, which is
I
surreal.
hope this is real.
I saw it there. If that's true and that's accurate, it's humiliating and it's embarrassing from the sense of just the way the club is run and the finances and all these other things, man. It's bad. It's really, really bad.
It's everything from the regular deals that they've done to how the club is run on a day-to-day basis is just like an example of what not to do.
Which is so crazy. So
when Todd Bowley makes more money than you for your
he wasn't
final,
even there.
He wasn't even there. He probably didn't even watch, bro. He didn't know what was happening.
He's looking at Manchester United as passive income.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
So that's not great. So let's move on and let's talk about Tottenham because this is what a moment.
The jokes are over.
The jokes, the banter has to stop for at least a moment.
We're all gonna see what the trophy cabinet looks like. There is one. We heard it from Carter before the show that apparently in 1855 they won 25 trophies. Everyone needs to celebrate it now. Man, they won the Audi Cup, and he remembers the parade.
The soccer balls were made of cowhide.
100%. It was actually a cow skull. It really hurt. Really hurt to hit.
So, but
the trophy, the jokes are over, and at the end of the day, this is a huge moment for Tottenham. But you got to remove yourself a little bit from the recency bias.
Okay,
and just think about a year ago when everybody was rooting, and I included, was rooting for Harry Kane to leave so he could go win a trophy. Yeah. Harry Kane goes to Bayern Munich and wins the Bundesliga.
On his second try.
On his second try, 12 out of 13 times they've won the Bundesliga trophy.
Yeah.
Okay? Heung-Min Son stays and brings European glory to Tottenham. What I think what Heung-Min Son did is more impressive, should be heralded more than what Harry Kane did. Harry Kane winning Bundesliga with Bayern Munich is nowhere near as impressive as winning a European final with Tottenham.
I agree with if the question is about it being impressive, that's fair. If it's about like scolding Harry Kane for leaving, I don't necessarily agree with that.
What if it's not scolding? What if it's pointing and laughing? Because that's kind of where I'm looking at it and going, maybe he shouldn't have left.
I mean,
I'm happy for him for having won a trophy and gotten a celebrated trophy, but winning Bundesliga with Bayern Munich, and you're one of very many people who've done that. Winning a European final with Tottenham, that's a short list right there.
It is, but who would have thought Tottenham would ever win anything, right? Because this is what they've always done. But
okay, Carter, that's where the joke
because even, I mean, Carter might even agree to this, but how many Tottenham fans were also saying, hey, Harry Kane, if he wants to win something, he needs to leave. Tottenham fans are happy for Harry Kane. Even last season in Bundesliga, they were like hoping that he won something.
Sure. And even those of us who aren't Tottenham fans were hoping he would win something because I think he's a generational player. But now that I'm looking at it as it lays out, I'm thinking this feels a little bit like a missed opportunity. I
I'm sure he feels some sense of regret. And I had seen, I don't know what it was. I saw Heung-Min Son speaking to a German broadcaster, and Heung-Min Son speaks German fluently. He was obviously he came up through not Hoffenheim. Where did he come from?
Bayer Leverkusen.
Leverkusen. Okay. Who am I? I'm thinking of Firmino or something.
Sure.
He was I forgot what club he was at. But anyway, so he's speaking in German and he gives like a shout out to Harry Kane. They didn't have subtitles, so I don't know exactly what he said, but he sent a message to Harry in German, kind of acknowledging like what he could have said like,
tell me how my ass tastes. He could have said anything.
He could have said anything. But clearly that's there. That's a part of the story. And yes, Harry Kane did not win this Europa League with Tottenham, and I'm sure.
So who do you think is remembered more as a legend for Tottenham?
Heung-Min Son. Heung-Min Son he's remembered as a legend for Tottenham, even from people that are not Tottenham fans.
Of course.
And they appreciate him as a player, and the fact that,
Harry Kane could have broken the goal scoring record for Premier League. He could have beat Alan Shearer, and he would have won a trophy with Tottenham had he stayed.
Sure. He might come back. You never know also. But yes, does he feel bad about it? I don't know. He's on a better team. That has a bigger chance to win the Champions League.
Now he's got to win Champions League.
To prove what? To who?
To outdo Heung-Min Son.
Yes, I'm sure.
Heung-Min Son already knows German and he don't. I mean, this guy's beating you in every step of the way.
He's taking lessons. You've seen the videos that Bayern has been putting out. But no, this is a fun stat. Tottenham Hotspur have now beaten Manchester United 4 times this season, becoming only the second side to win 4 games against them in one season, along with Everton in 1985-86.
That's what I like this stat.
That's so you're in good company, Carter. This is.
And by the way, if you're watching this, put in the comments what you think. Do you think Harry Kane messed up by leaving Tottenham, or do you think there's more? Which one's more prestigious? Bundesliga with Bayern, you got to put that asterisk, or European final with Tottenham.
It's so weird to me that an Arsenal fan is like mad that somebody left Tottenham. What is?
I mean, but here's the thing: I'm as big a fan of the sport as I am. Arsenal.
Yeah, I get it. I get
so
the context
I can see it from a bird's eye view without being like, but this hurts me and my ability to banter.
This was and just the game in particular, like. Even you had mentioned something before about like Heung-Min Son like taking a trophy or winning something for Tottenham. They arguably stumbled into this.
When you get the opportunity, first of all, they also stumbled into the goal. I mean, the whole thing was a real backwards, sort of falling backwards into glory. But at the end of the day, there's 2 things from this. One, getting the opportunity to be in a final. We saw them in the Champions League final against Liverpool many years ago. And there was a chance to win, and they obviously didn't show up that day. They kind of showed up more than the other team. And I think that's another conversation is, in a way, and this is going to sound like I'm being a Tottenham hater, but this is a stain that will never go away from Manchester United, is that you're the ones who lost in a final to Tottenham. You know what I mean?
It's completely, yeah. It's like in the mud. They're just...
This is it.
I think the difference here, and I think we talked about this before, maybe on the last episode, about who would it be more important for. But now after this loss, and we're in the sort of the chaos of Manchester United losing, this was much more important for Manchester United. They needed to win.
Even financially, Tottenham is one of the most profitable clubs in the world.
Exactly. Tottenham are in a good place as far as the business.
They're like, we didn't even need this money. This is crazy.
Everybody gets mad at Daniel Levy and all this stuff, but the business of Tottenham is doing totally fine.
Bro, they got Beyonce concerts. They fine, bro.
Exactly. Beyonce ain't going to Old Trafford.
Nah, dog. She'd be like, yo, this clock goes from 90 to 0. I can't play here, bro.
So, yeah, you're realizing now that just as an institution and as a brand, Manchester United really, really needed that victory. But there were a bunch of really good moments after Tottenham won. There was a really great one with James Maddison. James Maddison didn't play in this game because he's injured and he's done for the season. But he was on the CBS broadcast.
That's right, which Roy Keane was also on out of nowhere. What a way. Now, there's a nice chance to merge these two gentlemen. They've got a little back and forth in the past.
Exactly. If you haven't seen a bit of the banter on, I can't, there's like 4,000 Sky podcasts, so I don't remember which one. I think it's Stick to Football. It might be Stick to Football.
I think that's where Roy Keane first made the comments that like, oh, this guy's not that good.
Yes, he said like James Maddison can't lead a team and blah, blah, blah. And
yeah, Tottenham winning was improbable. You know what else is improbable? Is YouTube sharing this without you hitting that like button. So do that. Hit the like button and it'll share this with everybody. It would really help us out. Do it right now.
All right, let's play the clip of James Maddison on the CBS broadcast.
Whatever system, it wouldn't have mattered.
Madison! How you doing, Jamesy boy?
You got changed.
I had to get a medal.
James is literally done. What's it called, the John Terry?
The John Terry
It's
full
called
gear.
the James
I didn't go with
Maddison
shin
now.
pads this time, but
Have you got your shin pads on, James?
No,
not quite.
boots,
To be fair, I weren't going to do any interviews, but then I heard it was with Roy Keane. So
It's on you.
Can you do the downside, please? Do it for us, will you?
Oh, will I? With pleasure, Michael. With pleasure. Roy Keane, that's for you, sir.
No, this is such. Look,
That's great banter right there.
when you have that especially when a pundit, when a former player is just like, straight up, and this is the state of football punditry and media nowadays. It's just like, yeah, they talk straight up smack about it. He's to hear probably someone that you really respected.
Right. They talk like you're not going to hear it. You know what I mean?
He's like, not good enough and whatever. And then he ended up making after that. Roy Keane said that, right? James Maddison had a clip after he scored, and he put Roy Keane's comments and then added his goal and celebration afterwards. And for him to have this like closure. And realistically, Roy Keane probably has not changed his mind, right?
Roy Keane's like, you didn't even play in this game, bro.
But it must feel good for James Maddison to be able to do that.
That's got to feel good.
Yeah,
man. That's like getting one back on your bullies. You know what I mean?
Exactly. There was another one with Heung-Min Son about being a legend. He was asked about this, which is also it's kind
everybody
of
cocky right now, bro.
very bold. It's like Tottenham have never won anything in years, and then it's like
he walks up to the porter with like, "Don't look me in the eyes."
Okay,
don't you know who I am?
Where's my statue? You pulled my statue. Let's play that one.
On silverware, and Son is with us now. Son, are you a legend now?
He already was.
Yeah, let's say I'm a legend.
Why
not?
You said once.
Only today.
You said once you wouldn't call yourself a legend until you'd won a trophy with the club.
All right. So what I love is just this is you haven't been to Japan, right? You haven't been to Japan, but this is like in Asia in general, like humility is a very, very important thing. Like you can't call yourself,
you can't be braggadocious.
Like I'm sure for a South Korean, for somebody to be like, you're a legend, they'll be like, no.
You have to be like, no,
you are the legend. I would never.
Even for suggesting it. Yeah.
So you can see that
in America, they're like, how did you know? It's about damn time.
Took long enough.
Jesus.
You know what?
I didn't respect you until you said it.
Even if we lost, you should have said
100%.
it. So I love, and this is why people love Heung-Min Son. And this is why all of South Korea loves him as well. Right. It's just the humility,
he's very demure. You know what I mean?
Work that he puts in. He's also like a sex symbol in South Korea.
He's a hard guy to hate unless you're one of the 8 people whose legs he's broken, which is a weird stat.
He's the only one.
I think there's like 3 or 4 people he's injured pretty hard.
He felt really bad when that was an Everton player.
We don't know if it was tears of joy, but he pretends
he felt very bad about it.
You don't know that. It's happened quite a few times. I think he's actually a secretly very angry guy.
Damn, Alexis, why are you bringing up old stuff?
Yeah. I'm sorry, legend.
So
I do like that though. I think if you are that good of a player, you have to. There's something cocky about you anyway.
Right.
To get to that point, you have to have. It's like it's not that different from comedy. You almost have to be like a bit of like a unaware narcissist in a way. You have to be like, I am the greatest. You have to be like, what's it starts with a D. What's the word where you're like delusional? You have to be a little self-delusional. You know what I mean? You have to be like, I'm the greatest of all time. So for him to finally just say it is kind of cool. You won a trophy, man. Celebrate.
Yeah, he got the moment they deserves. And then we'll wrap up this Europa League conversation with talking about Ange Postecoglou because he
said it, bro.
He's another one.
On business, bro.
Honestly, the post-match press conferences were better than the game.
Oh, 1,000. But we should have just done that. What are we doing?
Can do,
don't make me watch Hoyland for 90 minutes, bro.
We can do analysis and breakdown because even he was also on the CBS broadcast and he was doing a lot of different interviews and he's allowed to have a little bit of a different strut. Walking into them, give me the mic. Because he has been battered by the media and questioned.
He's also been contentious with the media.
100%.
He's got back and forth. So this is a moment for him to be like, go ahead, say something now.
Yeah.
English media.
Mm-hmm.
What you gonna do? What you gonna say?
Exactly. So it's a weird thing where now people they're gonna be like a bit forced to show him a little bit of respect. And really, the comment that he made, was it before he got there about the?
Oh no, this was at the beginning of the season. He didn't say I always win trophies in my second season.
Right, and then
so now it's like, well, the season's going bad. They're getting knocked out of other competitions. So for a long time, it's like, yo, you better. You want to backtrack on that? And he stood on business.
And I love that the fans they made a poster of this quote and he has the what are those glasses called? I forgot what the meme is.
They're like like when they fall when
gangster.
Yeah, gangster. Yeah, whatever. They fall when you do something.
We're
cool.
old, folks.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But I love that.
It says it right there. I don't usually win things. I always win things in my second year.
I mean, it's a bold statement, but it's a bold statement when you're the manager of Tottenham Hotspur.
That's tough. Yeah,
and because
people were like, "Are you quitting then?"
Because I mean, you used the word delusional before, but that's exactly what it sounds like. I would imagine that at the beginning of the game, a lot of journalists had their articles ready, and they had the lines of like, if Tottenham lost. That's what I want to see. I want to see the drafts.
Like when a team loses a Super Bowl and then they send those shirts. I want to see them. I want to see
those designs.
Show me the dress. What was you gonna say?
But I mean, we've gone to obviously tons of games, and we've been at games where we're sitting in the press box and we see the journalist next to us typing up their article, and then somebody scores a 95th minute equalizer, and they're like,
delete. Yeah.
So you could imagine that there was going to be a lot of criticism about should Ange out? Should we get rid of him? Was this good enough for him to keep his job?
Right.
And I mean, my opinion.
Should they have fired him months ago?
Yeah. My opinion. I appreciated his candor while he was in the interviews, because he said he was honest about like. That every time when they lost when they were knocked out of Leagues Cup, when they were out of the League Cup, when they were knocked out of FA Cup, there was a sort of like, even when the Premier League results started going poorly, there was an acceptance of like, hey, it might not work out in these tournaments here, but the Europa League I think is something that we can really go all in for. And I think that's why the Premier League results were as poor as they were, because at some point
I still don't think it's an excuse.
It's not an excuse, but he said it. He was like, at least it's like we're not crazy to think like, yeah, Tottenham are bad. And
he didn't do the coach thing of like, we're trying on all fronts.
Right.
Blah, blah. He was pretty open. He was like, hey man, I don't know if you know this, but
we're not doing
we got
great
this other thing that we're doing.
But we have a big opportunity.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that. And I hope for next season that there's a little bit of more appreciation, because compared to like,
I wouldn't be surprised if Tottenham move on from Ange Postecoglou though.
You wouldn't be surprised.
They finished in 17th place. That's not good enough. And I get the trophy, celebrate the trophy.
Yeah.
But even you said this felt a little bit like there should be an asterisk on it. Like they kind of stumbled into this.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, he won a trophy. He deserves the plaudits. I don't care if, Expressions is right. They do build him a statue. You kind of deserve it, right? You did what you did. But is this still the right guy to get you to the true promised land of winning the Premier League? The answer is probably no. And I don't know how they're going to do in Champions League. Maybe they retool and get some new players. And I don't know. He kind of has his players, and it's not that good. Maybe with less injuries.
Yeah, the injuries is what I think.
Again, but the way they play kind of leads to some injuries anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, we shall see. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a bigger fan of Ange Postecoglou after this victory for him.
For sure. But also, there's some respect on being put now on his past, accreditations or whatever. Like his past successes now mean a little bit more because people used to be like, "Oh, who cares what you did at Celtic? Who cares what you did at Brisbane Roar? This is the Premier League. This is Europa. This is different." He wins it his second year. He did exactly what he did everywhere else.
Exactly. All right. So congrats to Tottenham Hotspur, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say in all my years.
Also, congratulations, Tottenham Hotspur.
Look at that. All right.
You won a European final. Congrats, Carter.
We got to talk Gold Cup roster. The roster is out for the USMNT. So we'll talk about that right after this.
All right. Welcome back to the Cooligans. U.S. men's national team have released their 27-man roster for the Gold Cup. A lot of names missing. Christian Pulisic, not in it. Yeah.
My man's taking a sabbatical.
He's in a hammock, bro. He's got his sunglasses on, flip-flops on.
Taking a break. Yeah. The one stat I had seen, I don't remember the exact number, but I think apparently if he plays 49 more minutes this season, it will be either the most amount of minutes he played in his career or something like that. They're basically saying like,
He's played a lot of football. A lot of miles on them legs.
Exactly. Got a lot of minutes logged. And we just kind of give him a break. It does kind of take away from this excitement of the Gold Cup because we're realistically not going to be seeing the best USMNT roster of available players. The Club World Cup also takes away some of the players involved.
But also being the last real competition before the World Cup, you'd want your A squad to get more minutes together. And the fact that that's not happening is a little bit upsetting, especially Christian Pulisic. You're a leader. You're a captain. You know what I mean? So I kind of want you there.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get both perspectives.
Sure.
It's hard to be that harsh or critical about it because you also want him to be healthy at the World Cup.
You want him to be healthy.
Yeah.
And he's having the best run of form in his club career. You want that to continue. Maybe either get a move to a team that's in Champions League or at least be even more of a leader at AC Milan. So I get it. But
he's the leading scorer at AC Milan.
Bro, can he be the leading scorer during the Gold Cup, though?
Yeah. It's a bummer. My hope is that these games give players that haven't had many opportunities with the national team to get real experience and get like the biggest issue about the 2026 World Cup is that we don't have meaningful games to play in to qualify for that World Cup because we automatically qualify. So now it's like getting that energy and excitement, and the players probably have to do that in the limited amount of time that they get with the national team, but they really have to find a way, whatever team building exercise, do improv together, or whatever it takes.
We'll take them to the Rucker, bro. We need to build. Chemistry, camaraderie. We need to build all of that. And also, to your point, you got to find the fringe players that can either sneak into a more meaningful position or those players that can sneak into the fringe. You know what I mean? That can get themselves in that squad that can add depth.
Right. So look, I'm hoping it all works out for Pulisic. We don't know if he ends up moving to a different club because that's also a real possibility. But that's an option this summer. So I'm sure he has a lot going on.
Hopefully.
Let's talk about a couple other things regarding the USMNT. Some snubs because there's been names that are not there of players that are available.
Yeah,
and were not called up. So,
we think should have been there. Why don't you go first?
Yeah,
we both went with midfielders.
My biggest snub is Yunus Musa.
Okay,
Christian Pulisic's teammate. Admittedly, he has not had a great season at AC Milan this time around, but still, there's with no Weston McKennie, no Gio Reyna. Weston's in the Club World Cup also. Is Juve in the Club World Cup or no?
They are in the Club World Cup.
Okay,
yes.
So you would imagine that Yunus Musa would provide a little bit of that experience from the previous camps and the previous squad. So it's kind of a surprise because he is, yes, not had the greatest season, but still an important figure for the national team. So this is now an opportunity for a newer
somebody else
to really kind of like step up.
To your point, also, Yunus Musa is fairly versatile. He could play the 6, he could play the 8. He's been used as a right winger,
right back.
Yeah, right back as well. I mean, he can kind of play anywhere you want. I would love to see him play a little bit more central. So I thought, oh, what a good opportunity with other players missing for him to shine.
Yeah.
For him to not even be called up is kind of crazy. I'm going to pick someone else who I thought has proven himself already. He's proven to be versatile. He's proven to be essential. Tanner Tessman. I mean, the last camp, there was an injury. He gets called in as a late ad, and he played extremely well. I think anytime he's given the ball, he shows he's that guy that can be that stable force in front of the back line. Yeah. He can provide a line-breaking pass if needed. He's not going to venture forward. He's going to sit back. He's going to do his thing. He could be a bit more of a metronome, help control the game, help take the sting out of a game. To me, Tanner Tessman has done enough. He got the big move to Lyon. He didn't play as much in Champions League, but he still got that move. He still played
Europa. He played in Europa.
I'm sorry, in Europa. He didn't get a ton of minutes, and I went to one of the games and he was left off the roster. But it was still cool to go to a Rangers game and watch him play Lyon. And to me, in Ligue 1, he proved that he's of that quality. And to me, there's no reason why he shouldn't be on this roster.
I wouldn't argue that. I would only the one thing I don't totally agree on or don't see the same way is the line breaking pass. I think Tanner Tessman is very good at controlling a game, passing from side to side.
Yeah, it's not part of his. It's not the first thing you think of.
Yeah.
But he has that ability
without a doubt. All right. So how about surprises? What's your surprise player that made the team?
It's gonna sound like I'm being rude here, and I don't want to, but Tim Ream. What are you doing on this roster, bro? You're too old for this shit, dog. And also, you made the move back to MLS, and I'm not necessarily saying that disqualifies you, but you're 37. You're a center back that's already kind of past his prime. If not, let's just admit it, past his prime. Mm-hmm. He was too slow for Fulham. Now you're playing left back. You haven't had a good season with Charlotte. It hasn't looked great. I get that you're a veteran presence, and I get you're a leader, and I get that you're very smart in that back line. But you're going to be that point of weakness if you are the starter in the World Cup, even in this Gold Cup. You're going to be that weak point that people are going to attack on that back line. Yeah. And now we have to put players around you to cover for the fact of your lack of mobility, your lack of speed, your lack of recovery. Can we move on? There are other players that deserve that spot. Maybe not as much as Tim Ream based on the history, but at this point, you've got to make that decision. I do not think Tim Ream belongs to be a starter in the World Cup. Can he be on the bench? Sure. But the fact that this guy's still here is kind of crazy to me.
That's fair. I would argue that he's playing left back at Charlotte, which is
what are you
I don't know why.
Who made that decision?
He is a better center back than he is a left back, so I don't understand why this is something that Dean Smith continues to do. So because of his club form, this is why I think he should be left off. But I don't think the national team is ready to completely get rid of Tim Ream because of the veteran presence and experience that he offers.
I think we got enough veterans.
But I understand your perspective. My biggest surprise, given the recency of it, is Alexander Freeman, right back for Orlando City.
Antonio Freeman's kid.
And just the game, really the highlight was his game against Inter Miami just a couple of days ago, and he just dominated, and everybody was like, look, and actively, like, while we're all watching Twitter and Blue Sky and Instagram, everybody's like, yo, Alex Freeman needs to get an opportunity. He should get a call up.
Yeah.
And then like 3 days later, Pochettino was like, yo, I'm seeing all these tweets about this kid. I think we might need
I didn't watch the game, but I did see the reactions.
Okay, the reviews are positive.
Well, you think Messi called them? They're homies. You think Messi was like, oh yeah.
Yo.
Oh yeah, gang ahead there.
Okay, he should be playing safety.
Bro, for real, bro. Cover two over
for
here.
the Buccaneers.
Seriously, bro.
But no, Alex Freeman, if he gets any minutes, I'd be surprised. I mean, but it's a big. I don't know if it's necessarily a risk, but this is something where like a new player, and it's for the Gold Cup roster, not just like an international
this
window.
Isn't a January camp. Yeah, I get you. I'm not surprised only because there's very few opportunities for soccer in the U.S. where athletic freak of nature and the skills to back it up. Usually it's one of the two, one or the other. Like people used to say Mo Adu, like Rangers fans used to say Mo Adu is not a footballer. He's an athlete that has trained to be a footballer. This kid is both.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of those things where I'm like, I kind of like this guy. And I think I'm not as surprised because I'm like, he's ushered himself into the conversation.
But it's the thing I love about just like national team kind of call-ups, because you could have one good game. You could have, it's what are you doing right now?
Bro.
If you good now, we'll give you an opportunity.
I mean this with all love and respect. Dax McCarty was on the national team. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Other people should get a chance. Is what I'm saying.
Shout out to that Gold Cup winner, bro. My man
Dax,
raised a
bro.
couple trophies.
I'm only messing around.
Let's
talk about some. We talked about some surprises. We talked about some snubs. Who do you think got the most approved?
For me, most approved right now would have to be Brendan Aronson. Given his, relegated from the Premier League, loaned to a different club, and now back with
Leeds.
He's
looked good in his club form,
and he's
though.
looked great.
So why has he got something to prove?
Because he doesn't do it with the national team.
Nah, he looked bad, bro.
He's incredibly ineffective with the national team, and it just hasn't really worked out. So it's one of those things where I think he's built his confidence to a level where what I want from the national team is 11 players that are like, yo, give me the ball. I want the ball. I can do something and I can affect this game. And in previous years with the national team, I haven't seen Brendan Aronson be like that.
He's more like, who passed me this ball? Why would you do that? Yeah.
He is creative and he can do a lot.
And he's an engine. He's an engine, which sometimes at the end of a game is great to have.
So I think
I agree with you. He's got to show me something. Show me you belong on this team.
Correct. What about for you? Who has the most approved?
I hate saying this because there was a lot of fanfare around him joining this team, and I'm one of those. But Falair and Balogun, man, bro, you were ushered into the number 1 in the 9 position, top of the list for the 9s in the US, and I don't know that you've proven it. The best he's looked was under BJ Callahan in the Nations League when Greg Berhalter was sort of in contract negotiations in flux as to whether he would remain. That's the best he's looked. And obviously, you can say that for a couple players with the national team, by the way. But I think that's the best he's looked, and that's the most connected to your Westons, your Christian Pulisic's, and everyone else that it felt like he was part of the team. He was understood how to connect with those guys, and the chemistry was great. Those guys aren't there now, and you're going to be given an opportunity. Prove to me that it shouldn't be Pepe. That's number 1. Prove to me that it shouldn't be Ajerman. That's number 1. Prove to me that it shouldn't be Brendan Vasquez getting another opportunity. Prove to me that you really are the top of the list of that 9, that you can make the 9 position solely your own. Sure. To me, you have to prove that in this competition.
Fair. He's coming back from a shoulder separation injury. So I'm just glad his shoulder's back together. That's all.
What about you? Let's move on.
Player to watch. So for me, another returning player from injury, Serginho Dest. I mean, we all saw what he's capable of, and he tore his ACL over a year ago. And that's it. I mean, we know what he's capable of. I just hope to see that he's the same guy.
Yeah, and I think again, this is going back to the way Berhalter plays. Maybe not exactly the way Pochettino plays, but the team's better when Serginho Dest is there. It's more dynamic. It's more open. He unlocks a lot of doors for the national team. So hopefully he is healthy. For me, I'm going to go with Diego Luna. This was a player that I think anyone, even if you're not an MLS fan, you were like, why hasn't this guy gotten more of a chance? Breaks his nose with the national team. You know what I mean?
He denied a call up to the Olympics.
Yep. And there's been times where he should have been on the team and he didn't get a chance. There's been times where it didn't work out. But what we've seen from him from that moment on is he has taken up another level with his club form.
He looks
to
great.
me, he feels like he's ready to move on to a bigger competition level or a higher level than MLS. And I think now is the right time. He's in the right place. It doesn't feel like it's a gimme. It doesn't feel like it's a make-a-wish. It doesn't feel like, oh, we're taking a chance. It feels like this is the right time for him to be a part of the national team. And without some of those bigger stars there, I think he can prove to be that guy.
Yeah, he looks like fantastic for us. So
good. And a leader.
Yeah. So, to wrap this up, our expectations for the Gold Cup. What do we think?
If you had to predict, what do you think the U.S. men's national team well, at the end of the day, they will be what?
Given Nations League and how that went, I'm gonna just be realistic and pragmatic, and literally my expectation and what I think would be a decent Gold Cup showing is getting to the semifinal.
Okay,
that's it.
Christian hates America. That's crazy.
Okay, it's just. If they would surprise me if they can get to the final.
You can't say that without telling me who you think would win it all. Who stands the best chance to win it all then?
Mexico or Canada?
I think Mexico.
Yeah, I think they're in better form than than we are. And then now with the
I
players,
can see Canada putting in a shift for
with
sure.
with the players that we're going to be missing, obviously the other nations are going to be missing some players as well for Club World Cup or whatever. But Canada, if Alphonso Davies was there, I would say Canada first.
Mhm.
But I think Mexico or Canada will probably be the final.
It's crazy. I'm gonna say, and I think I don't have the facts to back up anything I'm about to say, other than
Have you ever had facts?
that's actually a great point. Why need it? It's the Cooligans. There's other places for you to go if you want facts. I'm gonna say that the U.S. men's national team will be the winners, and I don't know that I'm that confident in that. But what I will say is, you have to go into this competition thinking that has to be your expectation. Anything other than winning Gold Cup is an abject failure for this team. It just is. And it's an abject failure for Mauricio Pochettino. And I think Mauricio Pochettino is going to have a lot of questions to answer if we don't win this competition. And I totally agree with you that our A squad is not walking in there. Most other countries aren't bringing their A squads either. This is a chance to prove that heading into the World Cup, you are the top dog in CONCACAF. You are the top dog in this region. And you're the top dog out of the 3 countries hosting the World Cup. If you don't do that, there's not, bro, them ticket sales are going to be rough for the World Cup.
Okay. I mean, I have a feeling they'll be fine. People are gonna go.
For the national team, for the men's national
People
team.
are going to go regardless. Anyway, at least you...
If they're allowed in. I mean, the way this country's going.
All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll do I'll run that back right after this. All right, let's get to some good news.
Okay. Good news. We very rarely talk about that.
Because this is what is going to make today's run that back, because our homie Lo Labonta, I don't know if you heard, but she has been called up to the national team.
Let's go. Well deserved.
After years of being neglected and left off the team.
We had this conversation
with her, so let's take a quick look.
I've never been on the national team, so immediately when that happens, your pay will usually go up. So I've just been out here, fighting for the average NWSL player. It is going up. There are improvements, and you brought up Maria Sanchez, being the highest paid at one point. I'm going to applaud you. Get your bag. How do we get these other players' bags? How do I, get some money? Working on that. Working on that.
Come on.
Long overdue. How great is that?
There's not that many people that I'm so happy for when something happens for them. 'Cause I know how hard this woman has worked.
Right.
I know how important she's raised her own star. You know what I mean? Her own level.
Yeah.
She's done it all.
Yeah.
She's gotten herself to this point. She absolutely deserves it. And now this helps out even financially. I'm pulling for their finances. I'm calling the Charles Schwab representative. Yo, fix that money up. Nice.
Yeah, because look, this is the obvious reality of it is if you're not a national team player and you play in NWSL, it is you're sort of fighting for the best contract you can kind of get. And if you had seen the off-season FC. We had talked about with her. Go back to our Lo Labonta episode because it was a very good interview. But she had mentioned that she was on the NWSL Best 11, but wasn't even one of the top 11 best paid players on her own team.
Yeah, which is crazy because there's not that many players on the team, guys.
And she also didn't have an agent. She was negotiating her own contracts with the team, and
which could be why she wasn't one of the top.
Which is its own other thing. But I'm glad this raises her level. It raises her
profile,
notoriety, the profile, and it's something. And it's not just a charity call up. I mean, she is playing fantastically, especially the last couple of years for the Kansas City Current. She is playing fantastic and a leader in the midfield. Obviously, the penalty taker on the team, the goal celebration. So
I was gonna say she's more than a goal celebration machine.
She does.
That's just part of it now.
She's a fantastic passer.
Yes.
We were talking about line breaking passes before. Lo Labonta is a beast at that. And she's adapted well to what they've asked of her on her team, even when they brought in Dabinia, who plays in her position.
Exactly.
And she's like, all right, I'll step aside and I'll still find ways to contribute. And she's still doing exactly that.
She's become an essential player on one of the most exciting teams in NWSL. Right. So for her to get that national team call up finally, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, so the U.S. is playing against China and Jamaica May 31st and June 3rd. So I'm just hoping she gets opportunities and some minutes, and it's again, it's
I
just.
hope she scores a goal and has a banger of a celly, bro.
I had seen Becky Sauerbrunn talk about this because she was saying that Lo Labonta always made fun of her for being the oldest player on the team. And they would say like, yeah, you're like the mom of the team or whatever. Right. And now Lo Labonta is the oldest player on the team. And
she will not look it though. She's tiny.
She is unbelievably
She is so small.
It's again, we talked about this, I think, when we were had her on the pod. And when I saw her in San Diego and she had recognized me and we had the whole thing because she didn't remember my name, but she thought I worked at CBS, and I thought that she thought I was Aaron West, and a whole other thing. But when I'm like standing next to her, you forget. I'm like if I was playing soccer in front of you, and like I would be humiliated by this tiny lady.
Absolutely, she is so small. When she's holding a soccer ball, it looks like a child playing with a beach ball. But she is a beast.
A petite lady. She's an absolute beast. It's so awesome. So so I'm like we're happy for her, and a lot of people are. But it's from meeting her and talking to her.
Right. You can't help but like fall in love with her.
Yeah.
And the story.
She's so awesome. She's super funny. Like just a great personality. Yeah. And she's already like laying the groundwork of like her football media career.
Yeah, I'd love to see a reality show with her and her husband. That'd be so dope.
That would be dope. So congrats to Lo Labonta. We're excited to see you suit up for the national team. Yeah, we didn't mention this in the breakdown, but also the new kits. You saw the new US
beautiful with the pinstripes.
The pinstripe one, the white one with the little stars. It's like all right. You got it.
I like the texture in the background, but the pinstripe
one is fine.
Double XL,
Carter,
bro.
put it in post right now. Look, this how it works.
By the time y'all see it, it'll be there. We promise.
It's on the screen.
Or you know what? Carter's fired.
It's on the screen right now.
Yo.
All right? That's how we make things work around here.
It just says like Alexis go to hell.
He's allowed to put any in post.
We don't
even check his work.
Bro, we don't even look at it. We just know Carter's automatic.
We just trust him. Might
be a little hungover from yesterday because he's a Tottenham fan, but he'll get it done. Might be a little crooked.
Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of the Cooligans. We appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button on YouTube if you have not yet.
That's important. Tells YouTube to share us with other people.
Exactly. And YouTube needs to be told things. Okay.
That's right.
You need to yell it at them. Why don't you go to the YouTube offices and make sure you tell them that?
What if you live near YouTube headquarters, bro? Get in there. Let them know what's good.
Why don't we start a protest outside of the YouTube offices to make sure they share our content?
100%. No one's on edge when the word protest is said anymore.
Get the algorithm doing the right thing. So leave a review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify if you have not yet.
And hit the subscribe button. Follow us.
Subscribe and follow us on Blue.
Follow us here, not in person. That's good advice.
Follow us. Protest outside our offices. I don't know. Whatever you want to do.
You can find our HQ, buddy. Get out there. Hold up a picture sign.
Follow us on Blue Sky as well. SoccerCooligans.com on there. All right. We will be back. So we'll be back on Monday. We have a special episode this Monday. It is Memorial Day.
Yes.
So be on the lookout for that. But we'll have like a brand new episode the following week. So
Thursday.
Enjoy your weekend. This is the final weekend of the Premier League, so obviously
put it to rest.
I hope all your teams lose.
Yes.
And we'll see who gets into Champions League. It's gonna be there's still a few games that have a lot at stake. So I'm excited to see that. All right,
it'll be fun.
See you. Have a good week. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Love you guys. We were talking about Ruben Amorim. Now look, I don't think he's fixed Manchester United, but things can surprisingly fix other things that you didn't expect, like financial fair play. Did that actually fix football? If you click over Christian's face, you can watch that video.
And if you click over Alexis's face, you can subscribe to our channel. Do that right now.